This was what Gandhian principle used to talk about. Now, there was certain principle which were called as Western liberal principle. Okay, Western liberal principle. Up here, obviously, as the name suggests, certain ideologies or certain things were taken from Western part of the world and they were implemented into our constitution, or they were included into our constitution. Certain things were taken from Western countries, or like Western देश में कुछ हो रहा है and we want to replicate into our successor. Is my voice clear? Is my voice clear? Please somebody write to Harsh that it is his problem. Please someone write to Harsh. Lipsa, please write in the chat box that voice is clear so that Harsh understands it's problem from his side. Okay. So Western liberal principle says that certain things or certain ideologies or certain norms which were followed in the Western culture were replicated into Indian society. So what we have to see, can anyone tell me any Western liberal principle they know? Anyone? मंजू, कोई वेस्टर्न लिबरल प्रिंसिपल बता पाएंगे आप? मंजू है? हाँ मंजू इसे, मंजू बताओ. No. Sakshi, any Western liberal principle? Yeah, international please. Lipsa is saying that she can give an example. Yeah, Lipsa, go on.
सर यहाँ पे ये लोग ना अपने मॉन्यूमेंट्स और सारा जो भी लाइक नेशनल बिल्डिंग्स है उसको बहुत प्रोटेक्ट करके रखते हैं, लाइक प्रिजर्व
Yes.
करके बहुत अच्छे से रखते हैं.
नेशनल इंपॉर्टेंस के बिल्डिंग्स को वो लोग प्रिजर्व करके रखते हैं. दैट मींस दे प्रिजर्व द बिल्डिंग्स ऑफ नेशनल इंपॉर्टेंस काइंड ऑफ मॉन्यूमेंट्स. Yes, this is absolutely correct and it is also a Western liberal principle which we have added in our constitution. Very good example. और कोई बताना चाहेगा? Anyone else? Palak?
Yes, sir. So like
Palak,
international peace and security, it was added to
हाँ.
to maintain the relationship between the two nations.
और
Mm,
ये बहुत
और
जर्नलिस्ट more.
more like separation of judiciary from the executive.
और yeah, it is a
And
correct example. Separation of judiciary from executive. मतलब ministers और civil servants का role अलग है और executives जो ministers और civil servant है उनका role अलग है. That means they will never interfere into judicial aspect. You are correct. More.
to protect the environment and to safeguard forest and wildlife.
Okay, to protect the environment and safeguard forest and wildlife. Very good. Okay, you have given 3 enough. Okay, now I'll give you, write down Western liberal principle. Western liberal principle, preservation. Adisha, she has already mentioned this. You are correct, dear. Disha, you are correct. She's saying preservation and conservation of environment. Western liberal principle, the first one is Article 44. It talks about one thing. Can you tell me what it talks about? Article 44.
The Uniform Civil Code.
Yes. Uniform Civil Code. What is it?
And that there should be one law for all.
Example.
Like there should not be any discrimination against the vulnerable groups.
No. Uniform Civil Code. More apt example. Manju बता सकती है. Navya, you can tell. Satyam, Soumya. What is this Uniform Civil Code? All under our law or abided by it. No. बिल्कुल नहीं. See, if you take example of our country, if you take example of our country, there are various religion. How many religions are there? Christianity is there, Hinduism is there, Islamism is there, Jainism, Buddhism. There are various religions, and every religion has their set of laws. हर religion का अपना कुछ law होता है. हर religion का अपना कुछ law होता है. Now, basically, what happens is when a particular religion has its own law. एक एग्जांपल देके बताता हूं. There is a famous case called as Shah Banu case. What is the case name? Shah Banu case. Okay. ये मैं आगे आपको जब when I will do certain cases and all, I'll explain you what was the case about. In this case, it was a fight between a husband and wife. Or actually, the husband divorced the wife, and after divorce, the person had to give certain money to the wife for her life sustenance. कुछ पैसे देने होते हैं for wife के sustenance के लिए. So in this case, exactly what happened, there was a conflict between what was written in the Constitution of India and what was written in Islamic law. See, in such circumstances, every religion can have different laws. हर religion के अपने नियम हो सकते हैं. In order to accumulate or in order to bring all the religious law under one framework and make it uniform for all religion and all sectors of the society, we need to bring a uniform civil code. Rather than dividing the law on the basis of religion, or rather than dividing the law on the community basis, the law should be uniform for all the citizens of the country. Shah Banu case mein, the Islamic law was saying something else. The Constitution of India was saying something else. So there was a conflict between the Islamic law and the constitutional law. And this can be with even any other religion also. The religious law might be something different and the constitutional law might be something different. In order to minimize the disparity, or in order to avoid the disparity between laws of the constitution and laws in religious book, we need a uniform civil code. हमें एक uniform civil code की जरूरत है. Got it? Anyone has any doubt? You may please ask. Palak, Arya, Manju, Norem, Navya, Lakshmi, Harsh. Okay. For every religion, not only for religion, for all the aspect of the society, there should be one law. The law should never be based on societal aspect or religious aspect or any other aspect. Okay. Write down Article 44. Article 44 asks for uniform civil code. That means different religion has different laws. Different religion has different laws. In order to uniform all the religious laws, and various laws of a community, we need uniform civil code. In order to uniform all the religious laws and various laws of a community, we need uniform civil code. Clear? Clear? Okay. Now, let us talk about Article 45. Now, let us talk about Article 45. Okay, what is Article 45? Who will tell?
It is same as what we have read in the Article 21A. That is the state should provide early childhood and education for all the children uh, until they complete the age of 6 years.
Yes, but in Article 45 it is written free and compulsory, free and compulsory education, free and compulsory education to all children till 14 years of age. Okay, basically this article deals with education. Okay, and it has been added in where? It has been added in Western liberal principle. So basically, in order to boost up educational aspect of Indian society, Article 45 has been added into Indian Constitution in DPSP also, Directive Principle of State Policy. That means it is the responsibility of the state government to give free and compulsory education to all children till 14 years of age through government schools. Now, my question is to Satyam. Satyam, unmute.
Yes, sir.
Satyam, एक बार बताना, Article 21A Palak pointed out. According to which Amendment Act Article 21A was added into Indian Constitution? Only Satyam. Only Satyam. Only
86th
Satyam.
amendment, 86th amendment in 2002.
Very correct. It was 86th Amendment and 2002. Okay, so ये समझ में आ गया. Have you guys got this? Free and compulsory education to all children till 14 years of age. Till 14 years of age, government needs to give free and compulsory education. Is it clear or not? Anyone having any doubt? Okay. Now, see, I am only talking about those articles. I am only talking about those articles which are coming under Western liberal principle. Now, Article 48 we discussed in Gandhian principle also. Article 48 will come in Western liberal principle also because it was part of Gandhiji's ideology and it was part of Western ideology. Okay, Article 48. What is it? Lipsa will tell. Lipsa?
Article
Lipsa, did you turn your pages of the notebook?
No, I'm just opening my notebook. I'm writing.
Tell me what is Article 48.
आर्टिकल 48 ये एनिमल्स के बारे में था क्योंकि एनिमल स्लॉटरिंग एंड एनिमल हस्बेंड्री like we should not use animals for our use or for our benefits and animal or like scientific basis में भी ये था. That's what I remember.
Animal husbandry should be done on modern and scientific basis. If you are taking care of an animal or if you are rearing a benefit out of an animal, it should be done in a neat and clean environment. Even if you are having a cow at your home and rearing a milk out of it, it should be kept in a neat and clean environment firstly, and this scenario should be done with modern and scientific technology, right?
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah.
Okay. And prohibit slaughter of cows and draught animals. Write down. Organize animal husbandry. Organize animal husbandry on modern and scientific basis. Organize modern and animal husbandry on modern and scientific basis. Okay. Okay, and prohibition on slaughtering of milch animals. And Palak, which animals?
Draught animals.
Spelling bolo.
DRAUGHT.
ठीक है, मुझे याद है. भैया मुझे याद हो जाता तुम कुछ बोलते हो तो। ठीक है, हैप्पी। Prohibition of slaughtering of milch animals as well as draught animals. Okay, this was Article 48. But in Western liberal principle, we need to add a subclause to it. That is Article 48A. भैया कोई बता दो what is Article 48A? Sakshi, Manju, Lakshmi. Lakshmi will tell. Lakshmi, what is Article 48A?
Protection of environment and safeguarding of forest and wildlife.
Very good. Protect and improve environment. Protect and improve environment. Protect and improve environment. Okay, number 2 is safeguard. Protect and improve environment. Safeguard forest. Safeguard forest and wildlife. Okay, protect environment. You need to protect environment and you need to save the forest and wildlife. Clear? Clear? Any doubt? Disha, what doubt you have? Okay, okay. Protect and improve environment, safeguard forest and wildlife. Now, guys, you are not answering. Lakshmi answered. Manju is not answering. Manju, आंसर कर ले यार, ऐसे मत करो यार, वरना हस्बैंड टीचर मीटिंग करनी पड़ेगी जल्दी से। मंजू,
यस सर।
क्या हो गया, आंसर क्यों नहीं आ रहा बेटा?
सर ये मैंने पढ़ा नहीं है पहले।
अच्छा, पहले नहीं पढ़ा? ठीक है, आज पढ़ लेना, ठीक है से। आर्टिकल 49। आर्टिकल 49 कौन बताएगा? इज इट अ बोरिंग टॉपिक? Article 49, and trust me, 2-3 questions will come out of this. Article 49 says that protect monuments like Qutub Minar, Taj Mahal, we have to protect that. Monuments, places, any historical places, and objects of national importance, which is of national importance. Now, Article 49 protect monuments, places, and objects of national importance. Suppose no, you guys have reached the interview stage, the final stage of UPSC. You can use this article if they ask about a burning topic. Where you can use? Anyone has any idea where you can use Article 49? If they ask you about a particular case, you can use this. Anyone? No, Sakshi, not Taj Mahal. Arey Baba, if you reach UPSC final interview, if they ask about a case, a controversial case, you can use this article to convey your. Yes, Soumya Ranjan is very correct. Ram Mandir case. In that case, if they put up the question, in UPSC interview about Babri Masjid demolition, you can definitely quote Article 49 there, and you can tell them, sir, according to my opinion, and Article 49 of Indian Constitution, which is mentioned in Part 4 under Western liberal principle, it is the duty of every citizen and the government to protect a monument of national importance or a historical place. And as per my opinion, Babri Masjid was definitely a demolition of a historical place. But I respect the opinion of Supreme Court and whatever the verdict they have given. So I respect that, and I, as a citizen of India, I abide by the judgment of Indian Supreme Court. Okay, so basically आप लोगों को ये बताना है, you don't have to be biased on religion that Hinduism and Islamism. You have to be a neutral person, a secular person. आपको ये बताना है, Article 49 of Indian Constitution says every object or every monuments of national importance has to be preserved. वो हमारे देश का कर्तव्य बनता है. ये मैं नहीं कह रहा, आर्टिकल 49 कह रहा है. ओके, आर्टिकल 49 बोल रहा है. दूसरी बात ये है, present scenario, I abide by the judgment of Supreme Court because I am a citizen of India. Clear? Clear? So how to use this article in an interview also? So, okay. Now, what does Article 50 of Indian Constitution says? Article 50. Who will tell? Arya will tell. Arya hasn't given any substantial answers today. Article 50. Fast. Arya, you have a microphone, a thing called as microphone with you. Article 50 says separation of judiciary from executive. That means no one like ministers, किसी के पास भी इतना पावर नहीं है कि वो सुप्रीम कोर्ट हाई कोर्ट के मैटर में इंटरफेयर करे. No one has a right or no one has a power to interfere into the judicial affairs, that is into the matters of Supreme Court and High Court. किसी के पास भी ये पावर नहीं है. Clear? No one has the power to interfere into the matters of Supreme Court and High Court or any court. Like executive, all the ministers and all the civil servants should perform their duty rather than interfering into the matters. Okay? Clear? Now, is it boring topic? Is it boring topic, Lipsa? No. Even if it is boring, you have to study. Now, what does Article 51 says? Article 51. Article 51. Yes, it talks about international peace and security. International peace. International peace and security. International peace and security. Number 2, good relationship with different states. Different states here refers to the different countries. Good relations with different countries. Good relationship with different countries. International peace and security. Good relationship with different countries. This is clear, no? We should maintain peace and security. We should not fight with any foreign countries. We should maintain good relationship with all the foreign countries, with different countries. Okay. And respect international treaties. Respect international treaties. Acha, you remember Wing Commander Abhinandan Bardhaman? Okay. So the wing commander was taken into the Pakistan custody by Pakistan Army, right? Pakistan Army. But why didn't Pakistan do anything to him? Why didn't Pakistan do anything to him? Like, why didn't they capture him?
Sir, Because of prisoner of war treaty, something it was.
What is that treaty called?
Sir, I have the name I know because of that treaty they didn't do. I don't remember the name.
Where was the convention?
I
Palak,
don't remember
Navya.
anything except that.
Yeah, the treaty says that the prisoners of war should be left and they should not be mentally or physically tortured. But where was this treaty signed? And in which convention? Palak, Sakshi, Arya, Manju, Lipsa. बताओ. Palak. Are somebody unmute? No, I want to hear a few from you guys. Yeah. It was Geneva Convention. It was Geneva Convention. As per the treaty signed in Geneva Convention, the prisoners of war should not be hurt or harassed mentally or physically or tortured. Okay, the prisoners of war should be respected. Okay, if you see at that time when the wing commander was taken into the custody of, like, the wing commander was taken into the Pakistan case study, it was the mobs of the Pakistan, the local people, they attacked him. Okay, they attacked him and they tried to hurt him. Okay, but when he, or definitely the Pakistan army might have questioned him, but उस time पे भी, even in the adverse condition, one of our wing commander is trapped into the Pakistan custody. Even in the adverse condition, Indian government never requested Pakistan to send back our soldiers. We never requested Pakistan to send back our soldiers. हमारे किसी मिनिस्टर्स ने, नो, none of our ministers or none of the persons of Modi government made a comment that, किसी ने भी comment नहीं किया we need our soldiers back. It सबने, whenever the media asked about it, everyone reciprocated, like, as per the Geneva Convention, the Pakistan needs to send back the wing commander within 48 hours. Okay, so it was as per Geneva Convention and we both have signed this treaty. And if they wouldn't have sent, no, there was a lot of international pressure on Pakistan that India will take a stringent action. So it was a diplomatic game. So every nation who signs an international treaty has to respect that treaty. And the last point is settles disputes by arbitration. Settle, like, I'll write it properly. This is a new point for you, I guess. Settle disputes by arbitration. What is it? Settle disputes by arbitration. What is it?
By diplomatic talks.
Yes, definitely. Arbitration is like, there will be a common person who will knowing both the parties, and by exchange of diplomatic talks, we need to settle disputes rather than leading into wars and all. There should not be physical action, or there should not be a space war or a technological war or a defense war. It should be talks through which we can console or pacify the situation. The things should be settled through arbitration. That means diplomatic talks rather than indulging in a stringent methods. Sakshi is saying Sulah karna, very like Russia involved between China and India. Yeah, that is correct. Russia has involved between China and India. Very correct. So write down arbitration, settle disputes by arbitration. Please mention here by diplomatic talks. Good word used. By diplomatic talks. सौम्या ने अच्छा word use किया. Okay. Okay. Now. I haven't ended the thing. Or okay, Soumya, I am really sorry, Satyam. Soumya, thanks for accepting it. Like, it was Satyam who used it. Good word. It was a good word. पता नहीं चलता ना screen में. सत्यम कह रहा चलेगा. amendments. Okay. Now, tell me one thing. Tell me one thing. DPSP में इन डायरेक्टिव प्रिंसिपल्स ऑफ स्टेट पॉलिसी में बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स अमेंडमेंट के थ्रू ऐड हुए, बहुत सारे आर्टिकल्स अमेंडमेंट के थ्रू ऐड हुए. आई हैव मेंशन्ड दोस आर्टिकल्स समवेयर, मतलब या तो मैंने उसको गांधीयन प्रिंसिपल में, या तो सोशलिस्ट प्रिंसिपल में, या तो वेस्टर्न लिबरल प्रिंसिपल में आई हैव मेंशन्ड दोस आर्टिकल्स. ओके, नाउ व्हाट आई एम गोइंग टू डू इज I will tell you which were the articles which were added through amendment, जिससे आपको और अच्छे से वो समझ में आएगा. Okay, so by 42nd amendment, 42nd amendment, (1976) से कौन कौन से आर्टिकल्स ऐड हुए, कौन कौन से आर्टिकल्स ऐड हुए? मंजू is saying something, सौम्य is saying something. Article 39, Article 39A, 43A, and 48A. So I have mentioned this article somewhere or other, so please notify it. Article 39, Article 39A, 43A, and 48A. Written. Please write it down so you don't have to search at various places for this. Okay. Written. 39A, 39A is enough. 39A is enough, Disha. अगर like if I need to go to that level ना, मैंने बता दिया होता. It is not required. That is why I didn't specify. ठीक है, और 39F मैंने लिखवाया भी नहीं होगा. Now, 44th Amendment, 1978. 44th Amendment, 1978. Which were the articles added? Only Article 38 was added. Article 38 was added. This is a summary kind of thing कि कौन से amendment से कौन सा चीज add हुआ है, okay? And I have already specified these articles. 86th Amendment, 86th Amendment Act 2002. Which article was added in DPSP? Which article was added?
21 में.
In DPSP, Article 45 was added. Oh, look. In DPSP, Article 45 was added. And 21A was added in fundamental rights. 97th Amendment, 97th Amendment Act 2011. Which article was added? 43B. So, Swami are correct. So, मैंने ये भी लिखवा दिया कि कौन से आर्टिकल्स किस किस अमेंडमेंट से ऐड हुए थे. Now, majorly your DPSP is over, but with once your DPSP is over, Indian polity's 70% course, 70-75% course is over, because union also I'll cover up plenty of things, because after this polity I'll start up with your governance as well, so don't worry about that. Governance is part of mains. Okay, so now what I wanted to do is like itna jitna padhaya hai, whatever I have taught till now, anyone has any doubt or like anyways you have to learn these things, but anyone has any doubt ki why this article, how this article, anyone has any doubt, you can ask.
Sir, I have some confusions.
Yeah.
So, like in the amendments, first thing was that 86th amendment. So, in that amendment, the right to education in Article 41, it was not included.
I couldn't get you.
So, in Article 41, there were three provisions. Like first was right to work, right to education was the second thing, and third was the assistance in case of unemployment, old age, and
Yeah,
disability.
yeah.
So there's this right to education as a second provision that was not in that 86th amendment.
I specified it. No, it is 45, 45, Article 45. I never specified it as 41. I specified it as 45, Soumya.
So that right to education is different. Like it's not overlapping with.
It, no, no. Right to education is a common thing. See, in case of DPSP, कुछ चीजें सोशलिस्ट प्रिंसिपल में भी आती हैं, ठीक है. Socialist ideology can be there. It can be repeated in Gandhian ideology as well. Like 48 was common in Gandhian principle as well as Western liberal principle. Okay.
Yes.
And कुछ चीजें सोशलिस्ट में भी आएंगी, गांधीन में भी आएंगी, and वेस्टर्न लिबरल में भी आएंगे. So that Article 41 I specified as right to work, right to education, and right to employment, and a right to employment, old age assistance and all, disability assistance and all. This is what you are talking about. That was not added. That was already there as per socialist principle, but this was added. Like 45 was added by 86 Amendment 2000. 45 was added. 45
Yes,
was added.
one more thing. So like a bit of confusion in how the amendment is made. Like the Article 38 was added in 44th Amendment. So that was in 1978. So initially there were no Article 38. Like confusion.
Article 38 were there. Amendment can be anything which is altered. आर्टिकल 38 तो भाई पहले वहीं पर होगा, उसमें कोई नई चीज ऐड करी जिससे वो डीपीएसपी में इंक्लूड करे. Okay.
So like Article 38 was there with, as a provision, just as a provision, and it was added
provision,
as a DPSP. And
here whatever I am talking in reference with DPSP. That इसमें ऐसा क्या ऐड किया? देखो, obviously Indian Constitution is a written constitution. Indian Constitution, Soumya, is a written constitution.
Yes.
That means whatever things are mentioned in Indian Constitution has to be arranged one after the another. Article 1, then 2, then 3, then 4, then 5. It has to be arranged in a systematic manner. So
Yes.
definitely 37 के बाद 39 नहीं होगा, 38 भी होगा. But ऐसा क्या ऐड हुआ जिसमें 38 DPSP में काउंट हुआ? ठीक है.
Yes.
वो किस अमेंडमेंट से हुआ उसकी बात कर रहे हैं.
yes.
Anyone has any doubt? Anyone has any doubt? Are ask is in this DPSP states means nation? Yeah. Yeah, correct, Disha. You are right. What happened? See, it is directive principles of state policy, how a state should function, how a government should function in order to for the welfare of the citizen. Okay. Anyone has any doubt? Because if you are
Sir, as you said that directives means the guidance which is given. So the guidance is given by the state or by the nation?
it is not given. It is not given by the state or nor it is given by the nation. Directives, the guidance which is given by the Constitution of India to a particular government and how it should function. This is the ideal thing and this is the ideal. आपके लिए मैंने एक बार सेट कर दिया है. I have set a bar for you and the government should work in such a manner you should test this bar. Got it? Okay. Anyone has any doubt? Otherwise, I'm going to dictate mains question. Like I'll dictate certain points of mains. I don't want you guys to write it. You guys can later frame it on your own. I want to discuss that. Shall I give? Shall I give? Okay. So the mains question according to me here is like you have to elaborate it. I have notified certain points. I'll notify certain points how your answer should look like. The topic is directive principles of state policy versus fundamental rights. So my topic of discussion is DPSP versus fundamental rights. So you guys have to tell me like what, like I have taught you fundamental rights, I have taught you DPSP. Now Lipsa will be telling me which is more important, and why it is more important. And how will you elaborate if you get a question like DPSP and fundamental rights?
Fundamental rights are the negative obligations on the part of the state, whereas DPSPs are the positive obligations, and state shall promise this on the part of the state. Fundamental rights are always like negatively worded. Hello? Am
I
I
can
audible?
hear. Yeah, you are
Okay.
very much audible. I'm
Okay.
listening.
But DPSPs are like positively worded. For
Baba,
example, like say,
Lipsa, you are
okay,
taking my
okay,
question in a different way.
okay.
My question is, I'm not asking what is the difference. Which
Mhm.
is more dominant over other?
D DPSP,
How?
क्योंकि वो not enforceable है और non justiciable भी है.
कुछ भी.
Like ये थोड़ा controversial था तो इसीलिए
अच्छा.
ये wild guess था.
Manju, which is more dominant over other? Question समझ लो पहले. Which is more? Manju, unmute yourself. Manju is saying fundamental rights. Arey Baba, unmute yourself and speak something. बताओ भाई.
The fundamental rights are more dominating because
ऐसा क्यों?
because
ऐसा
every citizen has a fundamental right. Constitution has provided us the fundamental right, but DPSP are mentioned in the constitution, but the state is not the state is the thing is not forced to provide the DPSP. Whenever the conditions are favorable for that, then state will apply. State will provide those DPSPs, but fundamental rights have to be provided to every citizen.
no. ठीक है, somewhat it is correct. Anyone else who wants to answer? Arya, Palak, Disha, Harsh, कोई भी?
Uh, in one of the case, I don't know the name, like Supreme Court said that if any conflicts arise between fundamental right and DPSP, the fundamental right will be prevailed. And if we want to make like want to amend any fundamental right, and we want to amend any fundamental right, so for the implementation of, like, we cannot amend any fundamental right for the implementation of DPSP.
ऐसा किसने? Okay. As per the interpretation of the basic structures, the state has to strike a balance between fundamental rights and DPSP, where it has been said, Soumya. So please write down. Now I will give my version. I always will talk with respect to articles. Okay, write down. As per Article 37 of Indian Constitution, as per Article 37 of Indian Constitution, DPSP are not enforceable. DPSP are not enforceable by court of law. मतलब अगर obviously not enforceable का मतलब है DPSP is not fulfilled, you cannot approach the court. आप court के पास नहीं जा सकते. But these principles are never lesser than fundamental rights. Are never lesser than fundamental rights. Whenever the state is making a law, it has to take DPSP into consideration. It has to take DPSP into consideration. In Champakam Durairajan versus State of Madras case, in Champakam, I'll write down the spelling. In Champakam Durairajan versus State of Madras case, 1971. In Champakam Durairajan versus State of Madras case, 1971. Sorry, 1951. It's not 71, it's 51. It's 1951. The Supreme Court held that fundamental rights are always superior than directive principles of state policy. In this case, in Champakam Durairajan versus State of Madras case, it was held in 1951. The Supreme Court gave a judgment. Fundamental rights are always superior. That means fundamental rights will be always superior than DPSP. Clear? Clear? Okay. Now, I'll ask you to repeat all these things. I'll ask someone to explain. So please write it down fully. Kerala Education Bill case. Kerala Education Bill case. It was in 1957. It was in 1957. Kerala Education Bill case, 1957. The Supreme Court gave doctrine of harmonization. The Supreme Court gave doctrine of harmonization. Doctrine of harmonization. That means the court held that there is no inherent conflict. There is no inherent conflict between fundamental rights and DPSP. There is no inherent conflict between fundamental rights and DPSP. The court issued that a directive to be followed. A court issued a directive to be followed. A directive to be followed in future. If a case comes before the court, in regard to relationship between fundamental rights and DPSP, कोर्ट ने ये बोला, एक डायरेक्टिव दिया कोर्ट ने कि अगर फंडामेंटल राइट्स और डीपीएसपी को लेकर कोई भी एक केस आता है, इफ देयर इज अ केस दैट अराइजेस व्हिच हैज अ कॉन्फ्लिक्ट बिटवीन फंडामेंटल राइट्स एंड डीपीएसपी, वो एक कोर्ट gave a directive that this directive should be followed, and I am going to narrate that directive. The directive is that the court should not give precedence to one over another. That means the court should not keep directive principle about DPSP or DPSP about directive principle. The court should not give precedence over one over another, but try to maintain a harmony. Between the two. This much is clear. Written. Okay. Write down. In Minerva Mills Limited case, in Minerva Mills Limited case 1980, in Minerva Mills Limited case 1980, the Supreme Court held that Part 3 and Part 4 of Indian Constitution are complementary and supplementary to each other. Supreme Court also held that DPSP and fundamental rights are two wheels of a chariot. Like if you have a, chariot horse in which horse is tied. If one wheel is not there, other wheel is unuseful. So the Supreme Court termed it as it is two wheel of a chariot. Supreme Court also states that is very essential. Supreme Court also stated that DPSP is very essential to have socio-economic justice, whereas fundamental rights is very essential for political justice. Fundamental rights is very essential for political justice. Fundamental rights plays a crucial role. In making Indian democracy. Fundamental rights makes a crucial role in making Indian democracy a vibrant democracy. The Supreme Court also stated that fundamental rights and directive principles of state policy are part of basic structure of Indian Constitution. If we talk about the present scenario, certain directive principles of state policy has precedence over certain fundamental rights. If we talk about present scenarios, certain directive principles of state policies at a higher level than certain fundamental rights, like DPSPs under Article 39B like DPSPs under Article 39B and 39 clause 1, 39B, 39B and 39 clause 1, DPSPs under Article 39B and 39 clause 1 has precedence over fundamental rights under Article 14 and 19. So 39B and 39 clause 1, if it is in collision with 14 and 19 under FR, this will definitely be taken into consideration. Got it? लिख लिया?
Under which article?
Which one? 39B or 39 clause 1 has precedence over Article 14 and 19. Written. So when you write the mains answer, your answer should include all these topics, like all these points. Okay. So like 2 minutes left. Anyone, I'll give you one more. You want one more mains answer? One more mains answer? Next class, I'll give you one more mains answer. Then I'll teach you fundamental duties. Okay, fundamental duties also I'll teach. Then we will go for the term president. Okay, now tell me one thing. Whatever I have made you write, anyone has any doubt, or can anyone repeat that? Who will repeat that? Soumya?
Yes.
सौम्या मैंने
Yes.
क्या क्या लिखवाया है एक बार एक्सप्लेन कर दो.
Yes. So the comparison was between DPSP and fundamental rights. So the first point is that as per the Article 37 of the Indian Constitution, DPSPs are not enforceable by the court of law. But the principles are never lesser than the fundamental rights. And so whenever the state is making a law, it has to take DPSP into consideration as well as the fundamental rights. So citing a case in Champakam Dorairajan versus State of Madras case, which was in 1951, the Supreme Court held that fundamental rights are always superior than direct principle of state policy. Now, Kerala Education Bill case of 1957, in that case, the Supreme Court gave doctrine of harmonization. That means the court held that there is no inherent conflict between fundamental rights and DPSP. The court issued a directive to be followed in future if a case comes to the court with regard to the relation between the fundamental rights and DPSP. So the directive issued says the court should not give precedence to one over the another, that is between fundamental rights and DPSP, but try to maintain a harmony between both. Then citing another case in the Minerva Mills Limited case, which was in 1980, the Supreme Court held that Part 3 and Part 4 of the Indian Constitution are complementary and supplementary to each other. So the Supreme Court also held that DPSP and fundamental rights are two wheels of a chariot. It's like two wheels of a chariot.
Okay. Actually, the next class is about to start. So Soumya, thank you so much. So we'll discuss. Yeah, Lipsa, go on fast.
यहाँ पे ना जस्ट मैं बस बोलना चाहती थी कि अगर हमें ये क्वेश्चन वाइवा में पूछा जाता है तो यहाँ पे जितने सारे केसेस आपने लिखवाए ये सब केसेस में कहीं कहीं पे है कि लाइक ये दोनों इक्वली भी काम करते हैं, कहीं पे डोमिनेंट है, कहीं पे ऐसे लाइक आप थोड़ा समरी में बोल सकते हो लाइक कुछ भी थोड़ा प्रिसाइज करके कि लाइक मोस्टली हम लोग कैसे उसको प्रेजेंट करेंगे अगर हमको ये वाइवा में पूछा जाए तो.
अच्छा, like for the last interview.
हाँ.
Okay. Will it be possible if I explain you this in the next class? Because sir is waiting. He has already knocked on the doors. Okay. Like it should be always be depicted like as an UPSC officer, and I'll summarize it in 2 minutes. It should be always, you should always take both the things together. and give your opinion. Okay, like in this case, which was the first case I mentioned, Champakam Durarajan versus State of Madras case 1951. Okay, in that superiority was given to the fundamental rights. Okay, and in one case it was stated that DPSP certain like DPSP and the fundamental rights should have a doctrine of harmonization. But even having both the things in our constitution and the judgment given by the Supreme Court of India, there is also a statement which says that Article 39 Clause B and 39 Clause 1 has a precedence over Article 14 and 19. That means fundamental rights and DPSP are like two wheels of a chariot. Okay, without one, the other cannot function. One provides social justice and economic justice, whereas other provides political justice. For us citizens to survive on the land of India, both are very essential. And once both are given, only the citizens of, like, with social justice, economic justice and political justice, then only a citizen can perform at its or her best. Okay, if you give him the proper political justice and do not give him social status and economic status, he won't be able to perform at the best. And vice versa. If you give him social status or economic status and you are not giving him the rights, you won't be able to ask him to perform at his or her best. Okay, so both the things are essential. Okay, rest the things I'll continue in the next class. Okay,
we can derive just a second. So we can derive that ये दोनों important है, right? यहाँ पे कोई कुछ dominant नहीं है, right?
नहीं, आपको as an IAS officer दोनों को साथ लेकर जाना. You have to take both the things simultaneously, and both the things are mentioned on Indian Constitution.
Okay.
You cannot, like, it is a question which has it is a controversial question. They want to seek your opinion which has dominance over other, and you should always be neutral.
Correct.
Okay,
Thank you.
Okay, I'll elaborate in the next class also. Okay, thank you. Okay.